somebody who's incredibly prescient, somebody who's been a game changer here in Austin and affected all our lives. One of the founding directors of South by Southwest, Louis Black.
Good morning and thank you. I actually asked to do this because we are here today because of Richard Linklater. After he made Slacker, when he decided to stay in Austin, when he remained committed to the Austin Film Society, he planted all the seeds of what we get to reap once a year at South by Southwest, but also every 365 days out of the year where there's always incredible films being screened in Austin, amazing films being made in Austin. The Austin Film Society, of which he's creative director, on an ongoing basis, provides fantastic programming all year round, and if you're not members and you're Austinites, then you should be. Rick asked to keep the hyperbole down, so instead of saying that this is one of the greatest working American filmmakers, I'll say a mildly entertaining American filmmaker. I suspect we're about to see another masterpiece from a man who has made so many, again, mildly entertaining ones. This is the incredible Richard Linklater.
Hello. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Janet. Oh man, it's always an honor to be here at South by. We're really looking forward to showing the film. This film never leaves the border of Texas, kind of like me before I was 20 years old. So we're really looking forward to watching this with the Texas audience. So thank you for having us. Hope you guys enjoyed the movie. Thanks for being out here early. Just settle in and come aboard. So, okay, and then I'll have cast members and we'll be up here after, right?
And this film is eligible for an audience award too, so remember to vote.
So, all right. Thanks.
Well, let me bring out my co-host, Stephen Hawk, Lorelei Linklater, Ella Coltrane. Oh, my co-producer, Kathleen Sutherland, Rebecca.
Folks who are here. My co-producer and editor, Sandra Adair. Yeah, co-producer, first AD, all-around co-collaborator, Vince Palmo is here. Is Rodney here? Rodney Becker, production designer. Wherever you are, amazing job. Couple producers, John Sloss is here. And yeah, I really want to ask Jonathan Searing from IFC to please stand up wherever you are. Jonathan Searing, are you here? He's in the back. There he is. He's the guy at IFC who gave us a little money every year for 12 years to do this film. It was, as you can imagine, a really impractical, crazy movie to try to undertake. And he wins a special medal for jumping through hoops every year at the corporate level when they say, what the fuck is this on the books that comes out 10 years from now? And what the hell are you doing? So thank you for believing in us all these years. We wouldn't be here without you. So, I don't know, there's so many more people to thank, but I mean, over 450 people, cast and crew, worked on this over the 12 years. So, I mean, that's incredible.
How did it feel watching it today? You premiered at Sundance, you were in Berlin, and here, so how's it feel bringing it here?
That was wonderful. I mean, I love the Paramount. I love watching movies here. What about you, Ethan? What was it like? You've seen it, or anybody?
It's strange seeing that there's certain elements that nobody reacts to here that, you know, when they do the salute to the Texas flag in Berlin, people are really confused. But the truth is, I mean, playing here at South by for this audience here today, it's kind of what you make the movie for. I really, every time I've ever been here, and the way that this town supports movies, just to see you guys here today, it's finally finished. You know, that's what it feels like. You know, we started this so long. Lorelai was just a little girl, and to actually be done today, that's what it feels like. I said it's done.
Let's hear from Ellie and Lorelai.
It was a really beautiful experience. I've grown up going to this theater. It's a really sentimental place for me, and seeing that particular movie on the big screen was a lovely experience.
I think growing up, when I imagined the movie playing, I always kind of imagined it playing here, so.
That was the big decision on this movie. I remember, meeting a lot of kids. Eller just had this kind of special quality. He was acting, at that time, he had been in a movie and I think a few other things, had a headshot and resume, so he kind of already showed some intention, and his family was behind it. A lot of it, when you're casting someone that young, you're really casting the parents. You know, his parents are artists, and you needed that family support, because this was they had to see some value in it, that it was some kind of artistic thing that maybe would be hopefully a good thing in someone's life, not some kind of awful burden. And you know, you can't I found out along the way, you can't contract anyone. It's a good thing. You can't contract anyone to do anything more than 7 years, legally. So we were all taking this huge leap of faith. Our making of
That's why I'm renegotiating my contract now.
Yeah, right.
I see some possibilities.
We're going to call our making of documentary from the kids' point of view 12 Years a Slave, I think it's called. So, can I give a shout out to Zoe Graham, who's Sheena, in town from college? Just say hi. I'm sorry about that. There's other cast members in here, but especially Sheena. She's great.
You know, I mean, Eller, I don't know if I can speak for you, but you know, one of the things that was so interesting about working with you on this is watching. You always had an interest in acting and anything artistic. You always had a real interest for it. But watching you learn how to become an actor, I mean, that's what really happened through the course of it. And Rick has an extremely unique approach to making movies anyway. I mean, you know, the collaborative process we have that started on Before Sunrise. You know, I was not that much older than you are now when I worked with Rick the first time, in which he basically brings you into a room and has the outline and the graph of what the thing is going to be about. But the details of how you get from A to Z, he's willing to collaborate and hear you on and invite you to be a filmmaker with him. And I mean, I think that's what he did with you, with both of you guys. In watching you guys, at first it was kind of an experiment, kind of fun, and then it became something it became our kind of joint art project. It was these parallel lives.
Kathleen, too. I mean, you joined in. This was a long-range commitment for you. Do you have any idea what you were signing on for?
Oh, fun. I mean, no, I lucked out. You know, I mean, what a great project to be, you know, brought in on and to get to participate in. And people can say, "What are you going to do after this?" I'm like, I don't think I can top this, so I don't know.
Cool. Audience, yes.
Okay. So first off,
First off, killer soundtrack. Loved it.
My question is, how are you able to keep the look at the film constant with the different stages and film technology with that?
Question is, how are they able to keep the look of the film constant with all the changes in
A
technology?
huge concern. In '02 when we started, I mean, that was the idea. I wanted the film to seem like one film, not a series of films or anything like that. So I think the biggest single choice was just choosing to shoot on film, 35. You know, I don't know how many films at South by this year are shot on film, but this is one of them.
We're only
One-
showing
one of the few.
35.
Really?
The original
In 35.
Godzilla. The original Godzilla is the only one we're showing
Yeah.
35.
We're digitally projecting. Because I knew we would have this digital finish, but 35 negative is still the most consistent thing you can get. So that was a big decision, and just the tone of it, trying to keep it similar style. I wanted there to be no visual indicators from the film. It would just come from what you're looking at. That was the big idea, I guess.
In the back, actually, we got somebody in black who's standing up. I know I'm trying to go. Get ready up there, we'll go to you next, but in the back on the side there.
How much did the ultimate arc shift through time? Well, we knew 12 years would pass, and that would be the arc itself, really. But not so much. I knew the last shot. I think what the movie was going to be year 2. I think I kind of knew.
You explained the movie to me, I guess 13, 14 years ago, just in New York. Rick came to New York and talked to me about what this idea of this movie would be, and it's shocking to me, despite all the weird variables of time and how life changes and everything, how much the movie looks exactly like you said it was going to look about 14 years ago.
Yeah, that was my hope.
You, yes, in the mezzanine, yeah.
Two questions. Could you publish the Black Album list?
Black Album.
Can I get some
Great.
credit for that?
It's great. Yeah.
That was my present to my 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that so much. He's a musician.
I'll burn it for you if you want.
We're hoping you can it'll be an iTunes thing at some point. You can get.
I want Paul and Yoko and the States to get together and do it as a tribute album. Because it's 1970, 1980. It's a great collection, and I really,
And I helped because we shot more to that scene. Ethan was kind of. You were talking how much you liked the songs, but you were also kind of saying what's wrong with each Beatles solo
That's
stuff.
the part you cut out.
Too much of this, too much of that, too much. So I cut that part out. So maybe we'll get.
Yeah, we can talk about John's self-righteousness and Paul's goofiness and George's over-spirituality
Ringo can't
later.
sing very well. All that.
Yes, blue shirt in the mezzanine, yeah. You, yep, go ahead.
Love the film. I'm almost 18 myself, so a lot of those touchstones in Mason's life I recognize from my own life, like riding a lipstick, listening to Soulja Boy. So, did you know when you were making those individual years, the films would be remembered later on as Here in Kenya makes me think of 2003, 2004, or did you add the songs later?
Well, added all the music later, but was kind of the ongoing process in the post-production was, listening to music from that year and kind of guessing, or just trying to have our ear to the ground on what. I'm out of that demographic. It's different from me. So I had a couple consultants that were around these guys' age who were, was listening. Well, Eller's taste was so far beyond. He's 8. What are you listening to, Eller? Oh, Tool. He was not much help in this category. What would a second grader be listening to or watching? Eller didn't qualify. He's watching Hostel. He's watching, whatever.
Do you know how Eller doesn't say this to Rick, but one of the ways Eller was smart enough to separate himself from all the other kids who are coming to audition, because Rick asked him, does he like any movies? He said his favorite movie was Waking Life. And compliments get you everywhere in life.
I don't remember that. A 6-year-old gets in Waking Life? Oh well. Print the legend. I don't know. But no, the music, I knew, to answer your question, I knew it would be a big factor. The way cinema and music works, particularly in a period film, music's a really powerful, emotional memory recall thing. And I knew it would be, but it was just a question of what. So a lot of those consultants and people, I had them say what the song meant to them. Like, I remember, after my first kiss, driving with this. I wanted someone to have had an experience, even though it wasn't my experience. I wanted someone to have, that song had meant something to them. But as we got older, the taste of Mason becomes more like Eller's taste. And I knew more of that music too, as they got older. It was stuff I was listening to.